SpongeBob SquarePants. To Patrick, a true friend always by his side. To Mr. Krabs, a money-making wage slave ready to sacrifice his dreams for his financial well-being. To Squidward, an annoying yellow nightmare. And to the people watching the show, a caring, youthful sponge spreading positivity to all of Bikini Bottom. What if I told you there is a hidden nugget of truth in there? Throughout the show, there are many questions left unturned. How does SpongeBob give life to inanimate objects? What's his purpose in Bikini Bottom? Is he secretly the Lord and Savior of Bikini Bottom? Yes, we are going beneath the surface with this one. This is the Greek god theory. Bikini Bottom, a sanctuary of unique creatures from jellyfish to pufferfish to humans in their natural habitat. Everything here seems to blend in, except for SpongeBob SquarePants. This youngster is the most extraordinary in the TV show as backed up in majority of episodes, which led me to come to the belief that SpongeBob is a god. More specifically, a Greek god. So, the idea of SpongeBob being a Greek god is backed up by the fact that SpongeBob possesses godlike powers, right? It can never be that easy. In order to tell if SpongeBob is a supernatural figure, we must begin by laying out abilities that only God can hold. The obvious ability is that God brings life, or more specifically is responsible for the existence of all beings, which nobody is able to do. And when I mean by giving life, I'm not stating reproduction, but rather talking about giving life to non-living things, just like how God created the first living cell. And if you think about it, throughout the history of the show, SpongeBob has not only brought inanimate objects to life, but is also the only critter in the ocean to accomplish it. Frankendoodle is an episode that accurately portrays this idea. SpongeBob stumbled upon a giant pencil which appeared to be owned by an artist at sea. As soon as SpongeBob's pencil made contact, the drawing suddenly came to life. He then gave life to Doodlebob, who is as alive as everybody else in Bikini Bottom. He can walk, talk gibberish, and even attack the duo. Not to mention intelligent enough to redraw himself in order to destroy SpongeBob. When taking a glimpse at the end of the episode, something very fascinating takes place. Doodlebob walks on a piece of paper and immediately becomes a two-dimensional drawing.
Page for Mr. Doodle!
The fact that Doodlebob randomly getting absorbed on a piece of paper is pure coincidence is completely foolish. Yeah, for the millionth time, I know it's a TV show, but that doesn't change the fact that apart from SpongeBob, there aren't many fish capable of this level of magic. In case you didn't notice, there wasn't anything unique about that pencil. It probably came from the same Walmart on Hazelnut Avenue, but as soon as SpongeBob touched it, that wasn't the case. I mean, look at these scenes. I don't know about you, but this episode not only defies the laws of physics, but also goes against the grain of the TV show. This is just part of the puzzle. There are other episodes that just as effectively demonstrate the unreal attributes of SpongeBob. The first episode that comes to mind, Bubble Buddy. Bubble Buddy is a character who was given the gift of life by SpongeBob, and it took zero effort.
Bubble Buddy!
All he had to do was exhale carbon dioxide from his lungs onto the bubble-blowing wand, or in simple terms, blow air. Bubble Buddy was a fully functional member of society with his very own voice and identity.
Whoa! Hey, don't I got a say in this? I'll see you later, SpongeBob. Things are getting a little weird around here. Happy Leif Erikson Day!
The idea of SpongeBob creating Bubble Buddy is perplexing. I mean, bubbles don't just deliver instant pleasure like pizza delivery with a 30-minute guarantee where if it's late, you get to keep it for free. Can you even imagine creating a living, breathing friend out of soap? And this isn't even the first time we have witnessed this. In the episode titled Bubble Stand, SpongeBob creates beautiful creatures such as ducks, caterpillars, butterflies that include their corresponding characteristics. For example, the duck was actually quacking, and the butterfly was fluttering its wings. How on earth could this be some random occurrence? Well, it's clearly not the case, as nature requires a profound level of processing to achieve this end result. Remember the episode One Crab's Trash? There is mind-blowing evidence lurking in the shadows. After SpongeBob was told that the soda drinking hat was cursed, he rushed to the cemetery to return it to its original owner, Smitty Werbin Jaggerman Jensen. When Mr. Krabs attempts to rob the hat off Smitty, all the skeletons, including Smitty, suddenly come to life and are ready to pick a fight with Krabs.
I guess I'm gonna have to take it from you.
You and what army?
Only the army of the living dead.
They can literally talk and have fucking swords and shit. Can you imagine something that's been 6 feet under for several years suddenly have the audacity to come to life without context? Unlikely. This is clearly SpongeBob teaching Mr. Krabs a valuable lesson about the pitfalls of stealing. There is no way that skeletons, Bubble Buddies, or Doodle Bobs just suddenly come to life in thin air. Something came to my mind. Wouldn't the creator of life be immortal? SpongeBob doesn't seem to be the type to live forever. Crap, I think I can't continue this theory. Or can I? There's an episode that proves his immortality. SB129 is a strange episode that was released in 1999. Basically, Squidward travels to the past and the future. When he reaches the future, he meets a supposed descendant of SpongeBob named Spongetron. But I believe this is SpongeBob acting like they never met. Take a look at the scene.
Holy Krabby Patties! A frozen cephalopod! Greetings, Primitive.
SpongeBob?
SpongeBob? No! I am Spongetron.
He's right!
Of course I'm right, Squidward. Of course I'm right, Squidward.
How on earth did he even recognize Squidward at first and all of a sudden knew his name? When Squidward went to the past, he met primitive SpongeBob. In fact, I'm confident that he also knows Squidward because as soon as he saw him, he calmed down.
SpongeBob? Stay back!
This makes total sense if you think about it. So primitive animals are biologically programmed like any other animal to attack and protect themselves when in fight or flight mode. Squidward activated his fight or flight response for a split second, but it disappeared after they made eye contact. With all this information, the main idea is that all three of these sponges are the exact same person, meaning that SpongeBob never died. The notion of SpongeBob embodying qualities of a Greek god is supported by compelling evidence. When analyzing the episodes, the things SpongeBob is capable of are distorted between reality and fantasy. When we are put in difficult situations like seeing a loved one in the hospital fighting for their lives, the first thing we can do is ask God for a miracle. God is expected to bring miracles out of difficult situations. Before we dive deep into this topic, let's break down the word miracle. A miracle is an idea of something ordinary becoming extraordinary, or impossible to possible. Believers expect that God can solve a problem by stepping in a miraculous way. Looking at Season 2, Episode 15, Band Geeks. Squidward meets his high school band classmate, Squilliam Fancy Son III, who is wealthier and more successful than Squidward. In the attempts to flaunt his success, Squidward organizes Bikini Bottom to form a band to prove that he has a better band than Squilliam. Squidward helps the entire Bikini Bottom practice for days and nights to play their instruments, ensuring they are ready for the Bubble Bowl. After all his hard work, things start going south. The band sounds like doo-doo caca. Squidward forfeits, leaving the place in tears. But suddenly, SpongeBob miraculously turns the noobs into a professional band in just a couple of hours that literally knocks out Squilliam because of how good they play. And this isn't the first time SpongeBob helps Squidward. In the episode Squilliam Returns, Squidward meets Squilliam Fancy Son and is once again shamed for his cashier position at the Krusty Krab.
On your lunch break, Squiddy? Hey, what you been up to? Oh, just succeeding in everything you failed in. Let's hear what you've accomplished since high school, Squiddy.
In order to flee embarrassment, Squidward suddenly lies about owning a fancy 5-star restaurant to show Squilliam that he is more successful. Squidward takes hours to remodel the Krusty Krab into a fancy restaurant but fails to do so. The Krusty Krab is a mess and everyone inside goes insane. Right when Squidward goes outside to confess, Squilliam walks in and bam! The Krusty Krab magically becomes a 5-star restaurant.
I'm trying to pass off a lousy burger stand as a 5-star restaurant.
It's literally been only 20 minutes, which is physically and theoretically impossible for a kid to do. How much you want to bet SpongeBob used magic as soon as Squidward turned his back to transform the Krusty Krab into a 5-star restaurant? Let's not forget another occurrence of sorcery. The episode Club SpongeBob showcases SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward stranded in a kelp forest with nothing but a hopeless purple shell. It's basically a toy that answers random questions.
Magic conch, should I have the spaghetti or the turkey?
Neither.
As soon as Squidward becomes deprived of food and water, the conch apparently comes to the rescue and delivers a food supply crate. And just like Squidward, I too believe the magic conch had no connection to these lucky occurrences. And if you really want to be a stick in the sand by disagreeing with me, then look no further. Remember that classic season 3 episode? The camping episode? Ah, good old days. SpongeBob explains the danger of attracting a sea bear, but Squidward fails to pick up the cues and continues to do things that upset the sea bear. While Squidward is getting kicked in the nuts every fucking second, SpongeBob uses an ordinary stick to draw an anti-sea bear circle which he claims to repel the sea bear. Squidward tries to draw the circle himself, but miserably fails. I can guarantee you that it's not the circle itself that defends them, but SpongeBob. In order for the circle to work, it needs to be drawn by none other but SpongeBob. Miracles are not easy for a living being to perform. My theory is that SpongeBob has a place for Squidward in his heart and loves him unconditionally, so he is giving the poor creature a chance in life. And not to mention, in the 2004 movie, he was the one who magically freed all the Bikini Bottom residents from the Chum Bucket invasion through his Goofy Goober performance. And if that wasn't the straw that broke the camel's back, then listen carefully. In season 2, episode 8, Christmas Who, SpongeBob brings Christmas to Bikini Bottom after hearing from Sandy. A city that is almost dead in terms of celebrations was lightened up that year with the arrival of Santa Claus.
Merry Christmas!
He legit brought joy to the citizens of Bikini Bottom just like St. Nicholas. And just like the boomers say, it's a Christmas miracle! Throughout the beginning of time, God has been on the throne of control. Despite it, the inhabitants have free will with little to no barriers. Although they can control their thoughts, words, and actions, it is believed that God can influence the minds of living things to ensure we reach an equilibrium. He does this by giving life lessons either via the Holy Bible, in person, which is highly unlikely, or a divine messenger. After closely examining the TV show, there are many instances where SpongeBob shares wisdom with society. In one episode, he taught Plankton the importance of making friends, told Mr. Krabs the importance of generosity, taught the entire Bikini Bottom to work together to form a band, and most importantly enlightened Squidward tentacles. It's common sense to us that every SpongeBob and Squidward episode has a pattern. SpongeBob does some stupid shit that triggers Squidward. He gets grumpy, and SpongeBob teaches him a moral towards the end. And this has happened in almost all Squidward episodes. In episodes like The Paper and Idiot Box, SpongeBob shows Squidward that you can find enjoyment in the simple things in life and there is no need to have any fancy artifacts. He explains Squidward that you don't need a television as long as you can take control of your
imagination.
SpongeBob seems to be blessing knowledge to the people of Bikini Bottom, especially Squidward tentacles. Out of all the creatures in the sea, Squidward has been blessed the most knowledge from the sponge. And there is a reason for that. God usually helps those who need it the most. And Squidward isn't really an exception. He is trying to prevent Squidward from committing suicide. And I am no longer sugarcoating this. In the episode Are You Happy Now, Squidward literally attempts suicide. And for those idiots who think, this is just a kid show. Look carefully at Squidward. He literally stepped on a stool and threw the rope in a very depressing way.
I can't seem to get happy. Maybe this will help.
Nickelodeon is very sneaky when it comes to hiding dark humor and found a way to make it inconspicuous. SpongeBob had an idea as to luring Squidward to the Krusty Krab for a surprise. He filled the room of SpongeBob mannequins that Squidward can destroy. Little did Squidward know that he was about to find his happiest memory. How much you want to bet that SpongeBob knew this would work on him? And what if SpongeBob's existence is the sole purpose of being a prey to Squidward? Let me explain. I believe the only thing that ever puts a smile on Squidward is hating on other people. And it makes total sense since he needs to get the anger out of his system some way. And let's be honest, without SpongeBob to absorb the negative energy, Squidward has nowhere to expel it. In Squidville, we see Squidward straight up depressed without SpongeBob.
Too much paradise.
SpongeBob?
You know what I just noticed? There's quite a bit of irony in this TV show. So we know squids are biologically prone to expel poisonous ink, which can be represented as something negative, and sponges on the other hand are driven to absorb waste. Huh, that's so ironic, am I right? This must all be intentional by the creators. SpongeBob's abilities transcend the ordinary. He's like a fairy that always keeps a pinch of fairy dust under his sleeves, able to mold the laws of physics to his liking. Some of you are aware that SpongeBob has a dummy that comes to life, acts and articulates just like SpongeBob.
Hi, Mr. Krabs. Are you talking to that dummy I made?
In Chaperone, we learn at the end that the SpongeBob that went to prom as a normal functioning SpongeBob was actually the dummy.
Oh, there you are, dummy. You sure come in handy.
Clearly, SpongeBob has had to use some sort of wizardry to bring the dummy to life. In Sleepy Time, this motherfucker literally had the ability not only to control his dreams, which is actually possible, but control his friends' dreams to the point where they cussed him out for doing so. And to all the haters saying that SpongeBob hadn't physically done anything, then answer this question. Why did they show IRL if the dream was subconscious? Yeah, that's what I thought. And come to think about this, how on earth does SpongeBob end up in strange places we wouldn't expect? Well, it's just a kid's show, right? We're not supposed to think thoroughly, right? Except it's not a once-in-a-blue-moon occurrence. He is constantly appearing and disappearing throughout the TV show. In the episode Squid's Day Off, SpongeBob shows up in Squidward's bathtub and then immediately disappears, and I don't think this is in Squidward's head. I have a concrete explanation. If SpongeBob was just in Squidward's head, why does he have two hats on his head? If all of this was Squidward's perceptions, then he would perceive the average image of SpongeBob rather than the more recent image, because this is what his brain knows of SpongeBob. And the brain doesn't always have the accuracy to hold tiny details. If SpongeBob wore two hats regularly in front of Squidward, his brain would base an image of SpongeBob with two hats, implying he was actually there in the bathtub scene, thanks to teleportation. If that's not enough evidence to run the engine, then I have more where that came from. Mrs. Puff has gone through the exact same thing. In Season 3, Episode 5, Doing Time, SpongeBob again teleports to random places in the prison, such as in the stew, the rocks, and even in solitary confinement. Places where it would be practically impossible for SpongeBob to get in without getting busted by the guards. This supports the fact that SpongeBob has the ability to teleport, which, you guessed it, is indeed a supernatural quality. This next piece of evidence is the closest we can get to cracking this enigma, showcasing the most renowned foods in all of Bikini Bottom. That's right, my friends, the Krabby Patty. Or should I say, the Krabby Patty secret formula. For years, fans have been speculating all sorts of possibilities about the recipe. At this point, the internet is flooded with rumors. My job today is to reveal that one ingredient that built the reputation of the sandwich. Let me ask you a simple question. What is the secret formula? Many would say a secret sauce, crab meat, or even drugs. Can I ask another question? Why on earth do people go crazy for the Krabby Patty? I mean, there has to be a reason why Bikini Bottom craves the Krabby Patty, and when I say crave, I mean literally doing anything for the enjoyment of this edible. They went through extreme measures such as rioting and fighting to get their hands on the sandwich. In the episode Patty Hype, they reeled in the whole city just because they were colored patties. That's what you call a mentally deranged society. Why is this the case? I believe the true reason of the obsession of the Krabby Patty is something magical added by only SpongeBob. Plankton, Squidward, and Mr. Krabs attempted to make the Krabby Patty but came nowhere near the level of perfection SpongeBob achieved, and the ingredient believed to be responsible for this attraction is love. In episode Growth Spout, SpongeBob told Mr. Krabs the secret to ending Pearl's torment and literally said this.
What was that secret ingredient you used in there anyways, boy?
It was love, Mr. Krabs. It was love.
It was love, Mr. Krabs. Some of you may say this is figurative speech, and I was on the same boat until I saw this.
Topped off with a little extra love.
I'm sorry, I need to see that again. What the fuck? He literally added bits and pieces of his heart into the Krabby Patty. That's what causes the hallucinations. No wonder Plankton was so absorbed in his own emotions. Not only did Plankton fall into this, lots of fish were victims to its enchanting properties. SpongeBob's love is magically added into everything that encounters him, from the people to the jellyfish to the sun. His love seems to take effect as soon as it seeps through. SpongeBob definitely possesses the divine touch to influence desirability. It's no surprise that what sets differences between an ordinary person and the Lord is strength, a force that is responsible for extensive purposes such as shaping existence. There are many different ways to categorize strengths that SpongeBob exhibits, including physical power, mental resilience, social resilience, emotional resilience, moral integrity, and determination. Let's begin by analyzing physical power. It's apparent to us that physical power is the first thing that comes to mind when we think about strength. Physical power is the ability for something to apply force to another object, whether that's picking a cell phone up, throwing a baseball, or doing some bicep curls. SpongeBob is able to overcome physical challenges in his day-to-day. He has been seen countless of times doing absurd challenges like overhead press, push-ups, and running. This is where you come in and rain on my parade, saying, ugh, he's lifting teddy bears and isn't even training efficiently. And I get that, but let's not forget he is a sponge. Let's do some math. If we scale down the stuffed animal weight proportionally to his weight, it seems like he isn't really lifting as much, but he is a sponge with holes full of empty space, which obviously means the toys and the bar are denser than he is. When we take this into consideration, he is at least lifting 1.7 times his body weight, and considering the average male overhead press is just under half their body weight, even an elite trainer with freak genetics and years of lifting experience can lift just over 1 times their body weight. I don't know about you, but this motherfucker is built different. I mean, there's banners in his room that says, "I love pain." He also values the power of self-defense and engages in karate every now and then. There is no way in hell this kid is a beginner. I mean, he's sharp, agile, and seen using his karate chops in the Krusty Krab to chop onions and tomatoes. In the episode To Love a Patty, this man ripped a swarm of clams apart with his bare hands. Now that's some Hulk Hogan shit. SpongeBob is also built with pain resistance. No matter what people do to SpongeBob, he seems physically unaffected, almost like a masochist. He is constantly seen enjoying pain in episodes such as Blackjack and The Bully. Oh, and let's not forget about the episode I Had an Accident. In this episode, the gorilla literally ripped SpongeBob in half and he felt unaffected.
Is it too late to go back inside yet? What's a gorilla doing underwater in the first place?
Could you even imagine having a straight face after this man breaks you like a Kit Kat? I don't know about you, but SpongeBob is certainly up there when it comes to physical strength. Mental resilience is one of the tools people must include in their arsenal. It helps with processing thoughts, thinking rationally, and problem solving. In my opinion, this is more important than having physical strength. I mean, isn't it obvious that having faster reaction times and IQ is what made Kobe Bryant unstoppable in his prime years? Rest in peace, Kobe. SpongeBob also mentally succeeds, as seen in various episodes. Sure, he acts like a goofball in a lot of scenes, but that's just him unlocking his fun side. He obviously has what's required to perform complex tasks. He has a library full of books, which I assume he reads. This is the part where you guys are gonna say it's a stretch, but it really isn't. Think about it. SpongeBob is exceptionally smart for his kind. Sure, there are people like his parents, Blackjack and Stanley, but they aren't nearly as smart as him. And don't forget that intelligence comes in various areas. He's emotionally, creatively, and socially gifted. When I think of the most extroverted cartoon characters, the first one that comes to mind is SpongeBob. I mean, this man would talk to anybody he encounters. Customers at the Krusty Krab, a marching band, and even Old Man Jenkins. He also understands the emotions of people he cares about. Like in Band Geeks, he was sympathetic towards Squidward failing to build his band.
What kind of monsters are we? We failed him.
SpongeBob is also aware that his emotional well-being always comes first. He does whatever makes him happy regardless of how he's viewed in society, with no signs of regret on his face. Someone who values their emotional well-being to the point where anything else can be sacrificed to get it is unsustainable for an average person. Moral integrity is also something overlooked at when thinking about strength. Being able to distinguish between right and wrong is something many of us fail to do. SpongeBob not only successfully differentiates the two, but also preaches towards integrity. SpongeBob's honesty is off the charts. He despises living in a false reality. Not to mention, he doesn't lie or cheat, and even if he's somehow obligated to, it kills him. In the episode No Free Rides, he doesn't want anything to do with the license after learning he didn't earn it. He even said so in the episode.
Mrs. Puff, I don't feel like I really did anything.
Mrs. Puff, I don't feel like I really did anything. Don't you think the whole reason SpongeBob keeps failing isn't the fact that he sucks at driving, but he wants to make sure he's fully ready before getting behind the wheel? That could be a possibility. He also stands up against lying as depicted in Cracked Crabs.
You're teaching me to lie! Lying is wrong!
You're teaching me to lie. Lying is wrong. SpongeBob also admits to his mistakes, setting a strong representation of his accountability. He also teaches us the importance of learning and owning up to our mistakes. In the episode Life of Crime, he and Patrick both admit to stealing a balloon.
We stole a balloon!
Remember the smoking peanut in season 2? Well, SpongeBob admitted to throwing the peanut and upsetting the oyster, something many of us don't have the guts to do.
I am the one who threw the peanut. I know now that what I have done is wrong. I am sorry, citizens of Bikini Bottom.
SpongeBob preaches the importance of taking responsibility of one's actions. He is confident enough to speak up against even the littlest peccadillo. When someone is doing something morally wrong, he sticks to his ground principles and makes sure his voice is heard. He was seen many times disobeying Mr. Krabs when it came to his wicked schemes. In the episode Krabby Land, SpongeBob was seen putting an end to Mr. Krabs' outlandish strategy in order to save the youngins from being scammed. Remember the episode Jellyfish Hunter? Towards the end of the episode, after realizing that the jellyfish were being tortured to create sandwiches, SpongeBob does what any humane would do, showing these critters the gates of liberty. Have you ever wondered why SpongeBob and Plankton synchronize so well? There is a reason towards that. Plankton is well known for being that evil character in the show, but unlike evil people from other shows, Plankton seems to have a virtuous side to him. SpongeBob most likely notices and decides to spend hours helping Plankton find that within him. This is seen in episodes like Plankton, Fun, and Walking Small, where SpongeBob tries to befriend the phytoplankton in an attempt to cleanse his soul. In the episode Neptune Spatula, SpongeBob and Patrick visit the Fry Cook Museum where they find a golden spatula that nobody, even Larry the Lobster, can't remove. After successfully pulling the spatula out of the grease, Neptune flies down seeking the man responsible for removing the spatula and fails to believe it was SpongeBob. Neptune challenges SpongeBob to face him in the ultimate cook-off. He entirely relies on magic to make over 1,000 patties. SpongeBob, on the other hand, makes them the old-fashioned way and is mocked. When it comes to the taste test, Neptune falls in love with SpongeBob's patties and declares him the winner. SpongeBob scolds Neptune towards the end for using magic to make patties, and literally calls him a trainee.
What did I tell you about using your powers, trainee?
Perfect patties are made with love. not magic.
He is forced to say that patties are made with love, not magic. Can you even imagine Neptune conforming to SpongeBob? I mean, SpongeBob literally has him wrapped around his finger. Only a god with superior powers would be able to talk down and teach a valuable lesson to Neptune. SpongeBob is the only character in the show to stand his ground against the god of the sea. He even said this to his face.
You're not a king. You're a bully and a liar.
You're not a king. You're a bully and a liar. This suggests that SpongeBob is not just an ordinary person, but a deity. Only a god would be this powerful to stick to its moral compass. Determination is another overlooked strength that the Almighty own. A lot of us have some level of determination to help us set and achieve goals, but there's only so much a person is physically able to do. You might give up playing Minecraft after failing to defeat the Ender Dragon for the 100th time. We all lack the tolerance to stay committed after constantly burning out. But SpongeBob? No. This guy is on another level. His determination is what sets him aside from the general public and possibly everyone. In pizza delivery, SpongeBob was committed to deliver the pizza despite caring about the time and circumstances. He didn't even seem to stop during a sandstorm, displaying his determination in completing this mission. Remember Squid on strike? SpongeBob was prepared to allocate all his free time protesting, even if it takes forever. He even says that within the episode.
Me and Squidward are gonna stay on strike even if it takes forever!
This amount of determination is inconceivable for a normal person to do. And you really think he can't last that long? Do I really need to remind you? Exactly. So pipe down. I mean, even when we take a look at his day-to-day, he seems to never get tired of the same old routine. On the other hand, we have Squidward, who starts to get bored from the same thing over and over. SpongeBob is more than comfortable working on the same old grill, cooking the same food in all of eternity. If this isn't absolute determination, I don't know what is. It's clear to us that although SpongeBob appears soft and delicate from the outside, he possesses the strength of a Greek god. Believe it or not, but the Almighty can choose whether your day should be filled with joy or misery. There's no saying about karma. Karma has no menu. You get served what you deserve. This belief is depicted in SpongeBob SquarePants. Whoever causes trouble gets their fair share of can of worms. This can be seen with many characters in the show. Now, Squidward is the obvious example. He is always punished for being a negative Nancy. In the camping episode, Squidward was literally tortured by the forces of nature after humiliating SpongeBob and Patrick. Remember the infamous episode April Fools? Squidward's mental state was equivalent to a tsunami of parasites for bullying SpongeBob. He literally made Squidward drop a sorry without asking him to.
All right, I'm sorry, I admit it, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. In fact, SpongeBob, I like you.
If you ask me, that's savage. Things never go his way and every episode finishes in a tragic ending. Well, almost every episode. As we discussed about the episode Squid's Day Off earlier, SpongeBob implanted paranoia into Squidward's mind to teach him a lesson for being absentee. Plankton also gets repercussions after betraying SpongeBob like he did in Walking Small.
You used me for land development. That wasn't nice.
Even the Strangler was going through severe trauma imagining SpongeBob in places where he was absent. His capability to frighten doesn't end at the average fish. In fact, there was an episode where he scared the shit out of the Flying Dutchman, an evil spirit known to haunt fish under the sea. SpongeBob literally engraved paranoia in his victims. The point I am trying to make is that SpongeBob seems to sense something unpleasant and somehow the story arc miraculously goes against the character, suggesting he secretly punishes people for their sins. After doing some deep thinking, I noticed a pattern. Every character that seems to hate SpongeBob gets kicked in the butt by destiny. Let's use Mrs. Puff as an example. We know Mrs. Puff has a horrible life. After teaching SpongeBob for a few semesters, she has lost her internal serenity. What I am trying to say is that Mrs. Puff can never live a normal life. And unlike the other characters like Squidward or Plankton who do bad things to SpongeBob, Mrs. Puff is different. She just doesn't like SpongeBob, which is completely fine as it's her opinion. but I believe she is being psychologically tortured for not liking him, as if she committed a sin. I digged through my grandma's Bible and found something crazy. Exodus 20:7 tells us that we are not to misuse the name of the Lord, our God. This sounds a bit dark when you correspond it to the TV show, and what the characters I mentioned above have in common is that they have said SpongeBob's name in vain.
No more SpongeBob! No more SpongeBob!
Let me show you guys how much I hate you.
I thought I sent you away, cretin.
I am literally not making this up. SpongeBob definitely has to be a Greek god to have control over people's mental states. So, we know that SpongeBob SquarePants is a TV show loved by millions of people, big or small, around the world, possibly the largest consumed TV show in history. This show is referenced in almost every meme on the internet. As a matter of fact, I bet you can't get a day without seeing a SpongeBob meme. SpongeBob has influenced many children through his amazing personality. He demonstrates the importance of always being in a good mood, socializing with fellow citizens, and treating everybody with respect. He is so influential that you could create a mini Bible and build a religion off his teachings. It almost seems like he is trying to become a role model to the audience. Wait, remember the television theory? Well, this theory states that SpongeBob and his friends are actors in the show SpongeBob SquarePants. I think since SpongeBob is the main character of the show, he is secretly directing the TV show and purposefully showcasing an exaggerated personality for the sole purpose of influencing kids to grow into moral adults. There are many instances where the characters in the TV show crack the fourth wall. But in the episode Stuck in the Ringer, SpongeBob literally says this:
I guess crying does solve your problems after all.
This scene implies that SpongeBob is aware that he is on television in the mission to teach kids life lessons. Not only is the show educational, but also addicting. Like, seriously addicting. There's probably a reason why everyone loves SpongeBob so much that they can't stop watching. And if you are gonna argue this fact, you're a walking contradiction because you're listening to my theory right now. I believe SpongeBob is God in the underwater universe, pulling the strings of the TV show and marketing team to make the show as appealing and addicting as possible. With all this information I threw at your face, I'd expect all of you to ask me just one question. If SpongeBob is a Greek god, which god is he? Let me answer that. So we all know the TV show is primarily influenced by Greek mythology. Although the show is somewhat influenced on Roman mythology, it's negligible. There are 12 gods in Greek mythology and only one correlates with SpongeBob's set of beliefs. Are you ready? Can I have a drum roll? Hermes. Hermes is the messenger god. The messenger gods are responsible for delivering messages between other gods and the living. This is seen amongst SpongeBob as he sends helpful cues to the citizens of Bikini Bottom. For example, he constantly reminds Squidward to be happy, Mr. Krabs to be less greedy, and Plankton to not be an evil piece of shit. When we take a look at SpongeBob's qualities and the supporting facts, we can safely say that SpongeBob is indeed a messenger god. Thank you so much for watching.